I'm back in North Yorkshire this morning, in an area of the South Pennines, in a village called Cowling. So my walk starts here beside the church. Cowling is a village in the Craven district of North Yorkshire, situated on the main A6068 between Keighley in West Yorkshire and Colne in Lancashire. Cowling, or Cowling as most of the local people pronounce it, includes a community primary school, shop, newly renovated pub, new restaurant, as well as a takeaway, chip shop, hairdressers and a brand new village hall. Cowling was originally made up of the separate hamlets of Ickornshaw, Middleton, Gill and Cowling Hill. It was only following the construction of the main A6068 and the building of large mills alongside the road that what is now regarded as the main village was constructed, providing terraced cottage homes for the mill workers. The older parts of the village faded in importance, and as a result, the parish church and village school are located on the outskirts of the village between Ickornshaw and Middleton, the centre of the village having moved since their construction. The mills continue to operate and to provide the main source of local employment until the end of the 20th century, but are now all closed down and their sites largely redeveloped for housing and the village hall. The village is now very much a dormitory village for those working in the surrounding towns of West Yorkshire and East Lancashire. From the church I walked along Nan's Scar, the lane passing through the heart of the picturesque hamlet of Ickornshaw. Philip Snowdon, who served as Chancellor of the Exchequer in the first two Labour governments, was born in the village. When awarded a viscountcy in 1931, his full title was Viscount Snowdon of Ickornshaw in the West Riding of Yorkshire. Snowdon's ashes were scattered on Ickornshaw Moor, and there is a memorial cairn to Snowdon to mark the fact that he died in the love of his native land. Passing by the imposing old Wesleyan chapel, I walked on to cross a bridge over Ickornshaw Beck. On the left, I climbed some steps as I joined the Pennine Way at a sign for Colne Road. This led to a grassy path climbing steeply up to the A6068. Continuing along the Pennine Way, I crossed this busy road to climb a steep field path towards farm buildings on the near horizon. Well, although it's a bit misty at the moment, I think it's going to burn off during the course of the day because the forecast is for sunshine. Now I'm leaving Cowling and Ickornshaw for the time being, but as I carry on along the Pennine Way, I can just make out through the mist what I'm going to be visiting later on. The object in the mist was a long way off, so for now I carried on following the Pennine Way as I headed on up the fields path. Passing Lower Summerhouse Farm, my path led onto a walled track rising up Green Hill. At a crest, the track was joined by Lum Lane, and beyond here I dropped to reach gates and a finger post. Leaving the Pennine Way here, I turned left along a wallside track that dropped, gradually at first, towards a very tranquil valley ahead. Well, the mist is beginning to clear now, and I can just make out my target ahead. To reach that target, my way was to continue downhill. The path was a lot steeper now, and I had to slightly watch my step on the loose stones. At the bottom, I crossed a beck and followed a walled track that, on the other side, started to climb gently around the hillside. Passing a farmhouse, I soon reached Piper Lane, a tarred lane at a sharp bend. From here, I walked ahead up the constantly rising lane. As I climbed, I enjoyed great views of Stothill Moor and Ickornshaw Moor. The mist is continuing to clear, and as I continue up this lane, my target is becoming even more obvious. After about 3/4 of a mile, I reached a parking area on the left where I turned off. The wallside path led me to the target I was aiming to reach. Well, I finally reached my target. This is Wayman'S Pinnacle. Wayman'S Pinnacle, also known as Cowling Pinnacle, is an obelisk on the gritstone escarpment Earl Crag, from which the ground plummets as a series of low cliffs into the deep valley of Ickornshaw Beck. It is also locally known as the Salt Pot, and the reasons for this I will explain a little later. Wayman's Pinnacle was reportedly built by a local man named Richard or William Wayman, sometime between 1816 and 1830. There are varying explanations of the date and reasons for its construction. One account claims that it was a memorial to Wayman's son, who had been killed during the Napoleonic Wars, while another account suggests that it commemorates the Allied victory at the Battle of Waterloo in 1815. The views were outstanding. I could see Cowling just below, distant views of the Yorkshire Dales to the north, and the nearby villages of Cross Hills and Sutton-in-Craven just to the northeast. Well, I reached Wayman's Pinnacle, my target, but you know what? It's not the only target. So there was a second monument on Earl Crag. Therefore, I walked along the length of the escarpment towards it. So this second monument is called Lund's Tower. At the far end of Earl Crag is Lund's Tower, a stone-built folly situated to the southwest of Sutton-in-Craven. James Lund commissioned the Keighley architectural firm of R.B. Brostler and Sons to design the tower, which was built in 1887. Different reasons have been given for why Lund wanted the folly built. Local residents refer to it as the Ethel Tower, believing it was constructed to celebrate either the birth or 21st birthday of Lund's daughter, Ethel. Because of its position above the village, some call it the Sutton Pinnacle. Others refer to it as the Jubilee Tower, believing it commemorated the 1887 Jubilee of Queen Victoria. Another name that local people call it is the Pepper Pot, so, along with Wayman's Pinnacle, the two monuments are locally referred to as the Salt and Pepper Pots. So Lund's Tower is another tower which is always open. So I'm going to go inside and have a look. I entered Lund's Tower and climbed the stone-built spiral staircase of 39 steps. Reaching the top, I found a viewing platform. Hello, hello. From the fortified battlements decorating the small tower, I was able to stop for a while and enjoy more wonderful views. Eventually, I made my way back down the spiral staircase, where I exited Lund's Tower. Well, I really enjoyed that, and Lund's Tower is another interesting monument. But now it's time for me to drop back down into Cowling. Reaching Cowling, I crossed the main road again and took a path descending below Woodside Farm. The path crossed a footbridge before ascending to a paved path towards an elevated cottage. Turning left here, I walked along a farm road called Cinder Hill Lane, from where I could see Earl Crag with its salt and pepper pots. I've really enjoyed my walk today. Now I'm back at the church at Cowling where I started this morning. And I have to say, it has been an absolute pleasure visiting Earl Crag, because I saw not one, but two monuments, Wayman's Pinnacle and Lund's Tower.